Now look, man, I must say this, man. All the people who don't press the free like button on this video are the same people who will break into Sasha Banks' house just to masturbate inside of her closet. Those are the same people who don't like my videos. Those are the same people who don't press the free like button on my videos and on this video. It's like those people are just weirdos, man. Like, why would you break inside somebody's house to hide inside the closet just to jack off? It's like, man, it's not that serious over wrestling. It's like, why would you break into her house to masturbate inside of her closet while she's watching television? You people are weirdos, man. Ask Sonya Deville. You marks are just, you neckbeards are just weirdos, man. I'm like, bro, go inside of a gym and find a life. But all the people who do press the free like button on this video are the same people that would never break inside somebody's house to jerk off inside of their closet. See, the people who like my videos are normal people inside of their heads. Only normal people who got brains watch my videos. Okay, so let me start off by saying, let me poke holes in your LA jobber nonsense logic, right? So I'm hearing people say, what about Ric Flair and Buddy Rogers? What about Hulk Hogan and superstar Billy Graham? Okay, let me tell you why that's a stupid, dumb, idiotic comparison. Ric Flair is better than Buddy Rogers. The only thing that Ric Flair stole from Buddy Rogers was his robe and his wardrobe outside the ring. Other than that, those guys were apples and oranges when it comes to their character and their gimmick. Yes, they had the same nickname, but Ric Flair was so charismatic. He was so original with his promos and his style. He made the Nature Boy his own name, his own character. He took it over with natural charisma. He was original. He turned what Buddy Rogers did and he put steroids on it, which means he made it his own. There's nothing wrong with making something your own and adding multiple layers to it. If you look at a Buddy Rogers promo, do you connect him with Ric Flair? Oh, so when you go back to watch Buddy Rogers promos, is he yelling? Is he screaming? Is he going psycho? Is he raising his voice? Does he have shades on? Does he got holes by his side? Last time I checked, they have different catchphrases. Dog, I don't think Rogers has a catchphrase. Ric Flair was very original. He took layers and pieces from Buddy Rogers, but he didn't steal his gimmick. Buddy Rogers is not on the level of the Nature Boy Ric Flair, homie. Get the fuck out of here. He's not on his level. Ric Flair didn't steal anything from anybody. Last time I checked, Buddy Rogers didn't do no damn figure 4 leg lock as his finisher. Last time I checked, Buddy Rogers and Ric Flair, they actually had a match, one-on-one. So obviously, Rogers had no issue with what Ric Flair was doing if they had a match. So there's no stealing here if Ric Flair took bits and pieces, added it, but he fucking flipped it and added different layers to it to make it his own gimmick, his own character. When you see all the guys today, would you compare them to Buddy Rogers or to Ric Flair? Who would you compare the Miz to? Buddy Rogers or Ric Flair? Who would you compare the Miz to? Or Max? Would you compare Max to Buddy Rogers or Ric Flair? That's the point I'm trying to make to you. Ric Flair is original. Let's talk about Jay Lethal. When Jay Lethal cut a promo on Ric Flair at TNA, remember? Was he trying to act like Buddy Rogers or Ric Flair? Like I said, bitch, Ric Flair is his own man. He turned that gimmick and he made it his own. by making it his own, by adding his own real life personality to that gimmick. There's a difference. LA Knight, he is black machismo. That's what he is. That's why he hasn't gone far in any companies. Because nobody wants to push a cosplay parody of a once legend. That's not how this works. Now, let me poke holes in your Hulk Hogan versus Billy Graham nonsense. Yes, Hogan did say he took bits and pieces from Billy Graham, but not his whole entire act, brother. Okay? Nobody compared Hulk Hogan to Billy Graham when it came to, oh, he took his whole entire act. He took it, his whole entire voice, his whole entire gimmick, his whole moveset. No. Hulk Hogan was Hulk Hogan. Dude, there's no problem with, taking bits and pieces from other stars from the past, right? And trying to add it to your act. But there's a huge difference of just hijacking their whole swag, hijacking their voice, hijacking their cadence. Dude, there's video of LA Jobber pretending to be The Rock on video. So what the fuck are we talking about? He can't deny it. That's the great part about social media. If there's proof and evidence, you can't deny it. Really? If there's evidence and proof, there's proof online right now on YouTube of him mimicking a Rock promo, which means, yeah, this guy is trying to be The Rock. Dude, there's a promo on YouTube of John Morrison versus Eli Drake. Do you know what John Morrison told him to his face? He said, "You are a ripoff combo of Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock." He said that to his face on Impact TV 5 years ago. But that flew under the radar because nobody was fucking watching Impact when Eli Drake was there. But he's a megastar though, right? By your logic. So if other wrestlers are telling you he's a ripoff of Stone Cold and fucking Rock, that's an issue. If you are compared to guys in the past, okay, that should be a compliment. But there's a difference between compared and just ripping off a motherfucker. Saying, yeah, that's similar to, hell yeah. How the way he walks to the ring, he talks to himself as he's walking to the fucking ring. Who did that? The Rock, Stone Cold. Talks to yourself while you're walking in the ring with that certain walk. Yes, he is a fucking ripoff. But hey, that's him. But yes, facts are facts. This guy is a fucking ripoff. A blatant ripoff. Hence why no other companies has pushed this guy. He's 40 years old. If he was such a big star, how come Impact, NWA, didn't push this guy as a main event, number one, face of the brand, talent? Why did NWA turn this guy into a tag team wrestler if he is that dude, if he is a megastar? How come Ring of Honor gave him a tryout match back in 2019, but they didn't want to sign him after that tryout match? But hey, he's a megastar by your logic, right? Okay, whatever. Look here, dummy. If you want to watch Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, just go on YouTube and watch their old clips from the Attitude Era. Why do you want to see a cosplay parody of somebody pretending to be them, who has admitted it? He wants to be like The Rock. It's like, man, like I can't hijack somebody's whole swag and their whole character and their whole gimmick to get myself over. I can't do it. That's how trash SmackDown is. That's how boring it is. Where you got a cosplay Rock and he's over and he's losing matches. He's a megastar, but he's losing matches left and right. But by your logic, he's a megastar. That's insane. Like I said, he's black machismo. Remember? Randy Savage cosplay? Well, he's Rock and Stone Cold cosplay. He is black machismo, hence why he never goes far in companies. Now, let's talk about All Elite Wrestling Collision. This show is great. This show is flying under the radar. And I love it. Nobody knows about this show. That's what I love about it. See, that's what I loved about ECW. It was because it felt like that show was a secret show. That show was like a secret society. It was like a secret club that nobody actually knew about. It was the definition of alternative. That's what made ECW great. It felt like, man, I don't want other people knowing about this show so they can fuck it up. I'm like, bro, stay over there. Let us watch ECW. Don't watch it if you don't like it. That's what All Elite Wrestling Collision actually reminds me of. It's like, look, I hate the fact that that show was on Saturday, man. That's like, man, that's a waste of talent. The fact that it's on fucking Saturday. Okay, when it comes to their ratings, look, it's not their fault. When it comes to the talent and how that show was ran, dude, that's the best show out of the week. It's way better than NXT, Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, Rampage. That show is the best out of the whole entire week. That show is quality, not quantity. It's quality. That show is just, man, that show flows well. It's like, it feels like I'm watching a real wrestling show that I was watching back in the 90s. That show is a real show. It's like, that show does not insult your intelligence. It's a smart, serious show. It's like, that show is no nonsense. And I've heard that Con Man is not booking that show. That's why that show was good, because Tony Khan is not booking that show. I heard that Bryan Danielson is actually running that show. I'm like, oh, okay. That's why this show makes sense. That's why this show actually flows well as a real show. It's like, look, what I love about this show is I'm seeing talent that should be on Dynamite. It's like, I like how everybody has a do-over. Hobbs has a do-over. Scorpio Sky now has a do-over. Miro, do-over. Hell, even Andre Idol has a do-over. It's like, these guys are being booked well, and it's like, I'm seeing Jay White. I'm seeing Juice Man Robinson. I'm seeing the goddamn Gun Club being booked well. Those dog, that's their show. Those guys are like the NWO of that show. It's like, this show actually reminds me of WCW Thunder. As just, man, it's just quality. It's a serious show with no bullshit, no jokes, no childlike shit. It's like, man, I hope Omega and the Bucks, bruh, stay off this show. This show is not for you. Seriously. Paige, stay off this show. The fucking Dork Order, stay off this show. This show is not for you. It's like, I'm seeing talent that should be featured on Dynamite. So what I'm seeing is, I'm seeing talent that's not being used well, being used great on this show. It's like, this show is giving people second chances at a damn career in this company. All these guys that are booked well are the same guys that Con Man has dropped the ball on. And what I love is, there's no midgets being pushed on this show. That's what I love about the show. There's no midgets there's no vanilla midgets on this show being pushed. This show makes sense. Like I said, this is the best show out of the week that nobody cares about, nobody talks about, but that's what I love about it. Because, look, I love watching shows that are under the radar. That's what makes this show special. It's just, man, look, last week, Hobbs had a great match with Dustin Rhodes. Like, dude, that was the best match of his career. That was the best Powerhouse Hobbs match of his career. Let that sink in. That was a great match that he had with Dustin Rhodes. Picking up Starks. Dude, Starks looks like a main eventer. Juice Man Robinson looks like a top guy on this show. See, I'm seeing guys like this is my show. All these videos that I always make about, man, how come this guy's not being pushed? How come Con Man is not putting this guy on Dynamite? Okay, now these guys are being put on Collision, getting strong pushes. Look, we don't see enough of Juice Man Robinson on Dynamite. We don't see enough of Starks. We don't see enough of Hobbs. We don't see enough of Jay White. We don't see enough of the Gun Club. Now these guys have their own show. And those guys are the pieces, the faces of this show, which is a great thing because this is a live show. Last time I checked, this show was 2 hours. So this show is a real flagship show like a Thunder. See, this show is not Rampage. It's like, dude, everybody's being booked well. Buddy Murphy, he's being booked strong as a serious contender. That's what I'm trying to tell you right now. Everybody looks like a contender. Like they should be in line for a championship now. It's like all these guys got a do-over. Like, dude, when it comes to Buddy Murphy, he is a jobber on Dynamite. It's like, dude, it's like I'm seeing two different shows. Like, yes, this seems like a soft brand split. I won't say a hard one, but a soft brand split. Because all these guys on the show was being booked like shit on Dynamite, thanks to Tony Khan, man. Now, these guys are in the hands of Bryan Danielson, aka Daniel Bryan. Now, these guys look like main eventers. Look, as long as I'm seeing Juice Man Robinson every week, that's all that matters to me. That's what I love. As long as I'm seeing Jay White, Hobbs, Starks, Juice Man every week being booked well, how can this show not be the best out of the week? Now we got fucking Miro. Miro is being booked like a fucking monster. What more do you want? It's like Dynamite, dude. That show is for kids. This show right here is for grown men. All Elite Wrestling Collision. That show is for grown men that are fans of old school, throwback, serious wrestling with no jokes, no bullshit. This show has no gimmicks. There's no childlike gameplay on this show. For example, last week, they booked a random match between Max and Ethan Page. A different Page. He was different. They turned him into a face. Look, I always felt like he had tons of potential, but Con Man booked him as a joke on Dynamite. This guy was a joke for the past 2 years, man. Nobody took him seriously, even though he had tons of upside, tons of potential. Now on Saturdays, he's being booked like a serious guy. Back when he was with Impact Wrestling. It's like I'm telling you, everybody now has a do-over on the show. to finally have the audience take them seriously. Paige was great in that match against Max. That was a great match. It's like, man, now I feel like, man, Max should be on Dynamite, man. I'm sorry. Now that's what I'm trying to say now. Max shouldn't be on Dynamite. They don't deserve Max. Max feels like a guy that should be on Collision every week. It's like Dynamite, that show sucks. It's like it's boring. I hate the commentary. Dude, people need to realize commentary can make or break a show. I hate the commentary. But on Saturdays, they have great commentary. Like I said, dude, it's a real wrestling-like show with great commentary. It's the kind of commentary that they don't make you feel like you're an idiot. They got Kevin Kelly. They got Nigel. Great team. And that show has a two-man booth. Two-man booths are always key. You have to have a two-man booth. You can't have two guys on color. That's dumb. That's like having two Jerry Lawlers on color. Like, why? Those guys are gonna cancel each other out. You can't have two Jesse Venturas on commentary. You can't have two Bobby Heenans on commentary. None of them are going to get over. They will try to compete with one another, which will kill the show. I hate Dynamite's three-man booth. It's stupid. Look, when it comes to Tony Schiavone, he shouldn't be in the booth. He needs to be giving promos. He needs to be giving interviews. That's his job. He sucks on commentary. It's like he's past his prime. He's no longer the Tony Schiavone from fucking Nitro. Those days are over. He has no passion. It's like he is not that guy anymore. But on Saturdays, man, that is a serious commentary team. It's like I feel like it's a real sporting event kind of commentary team. It's like I'm saying no flaws with this show, but don't kill it because of their low ratings. That's not their fault. Blame the stupid time slot. It's a dumb, awful time slot. It's like because this show has to compete with college football. This show has to compete with the fucking UFC, with the damn NBA. They have to compete with bigger shows, and I'm like, man, why would you put this show on a Saturday? Give me Friday, Thursday, something. Maybe Thursday. But not Saturday, but I don't know. Maybe that might be a good thing because I do love watching on Saturday. Because I don't know, this show is so under the radar. It's like it feels like ECW in terms of it being under the radar. That's what I most love about it. Not everybody watches. Not everybody knows about it. Which makes it a secret great show that nobody else is aware of. So it makes you feel smart that you are watching a quality show that has quality. Look, when it comes to Raw, Raw is a one-man show. It's Cody Rhodes and everybody else. When it comes to Tuesdays, that show sucks. When it comes to Fridays, that show sucks. People watch that show just to see L.A. Dyke lose. Just to cheer him. So that's why people watch SmackDown. They watch SmackDown just to see L.A. Dyke lose and cheer him as a heel, right? Or they want to watch the boring ass Bloodline soap opera story that's been going on for too fucking long. Outside of that, what makes SmackDown great? Nothing. besides watching LA Knight lose and cut promos? What's so fun about that show? Nothing. Like I said, I'm giving you facts and evidence on why All Elite Wrestling Collision is the best show out of the current week. Now, what do I think about CM Junk? I think he's being booked pretty well on this show. It's like, yes, we should be seeing him every week because that show is his. I feel like we should be seeing him. It's like, man, it's like the commentary team, that is the best commentary team out of the business. Like, already. It's like every match, it feels like a real fight, a real wrestling match that I'm seeing. Everybody gets over. That's what I love about this whole entire show. It's like every night, every Saturday, it's a great card. And I feel like, dog, it's very fascinating seeing a face version of Andre Idol. I've never seen him as a face, only as a heel with fucking Vega. I think it's very interesting seeing a babyface Andre Idol. I feel like that's making me watch every week. I love seeing his journey. Where is this going? Will he be a great face? That's why I'm always watching. It's like everything about this show has me intrigued. I want to see what they do with Powerhouse Hobbs because he's being booked like a monster on this show. That's all I want. Book Hobbs as a monster. Now he's back to being a monster. Starks looks like a main eventer. Juice Smith Robinson looks like a future top guy. Dude, and we got the Gun Club as new members of the Bullet Club. Those two guys are must-see TV. Charismatic motherfuckers. Like obviously, those guys are sons of Billy Gunn. Like, obviously. Everything about this show flows, man. This show is for adults, not for you kids. This show is for adults only. It's crazy. Because fucking Dynamite, that show was rated TV 14. I'm like, bruh, this show was not TV 14. This show is for kids. When it comes to Saturdays, that show is for us adults. That's the point I'm trying to make. So, I'm telling you, you need to watch this show every Saturday if you want to have memories of what real wrestling was and used to be when it comes to quality in a 2-hour window. That's it. I'm done.